Hey everyone, so I'm back at the range again, and I keep making range videos, but I keep buying more reasons to come out here. So today I got a Taurus Spectrum 380 ACP. I picked this up yesterday. I had to drive 100 miles to go get it, and it was the last one they had. So this is a double action striker fire. So basically the striker sits in a forward resting position, and when you pull the trigger, the striker is pulled back under tension, and when the trigger breaks, it releases the striker and it goes boom. And that also means that it has what most people call second strike capabilities. I call it multiple strike capabilities. So basically, if it don't go boom the first time, you can pull the trigger again and again and again until it does go boom. Now, if it don't go boom by the third strike, I hold it there in a safe direction just in case it's a late boomer, and then rack the slide, feed the next round, and keep going. So that's one thing I like about it. I haven't shot it yet. This is going to be the first time, and I'm going to be trying out a couple ammo. I'm going to start out with the Browning Court 380 Auto. I got some Fiocchi, however you say it. Got Federal American Eagle and some Federal Target Range. So starting out with the 6-round magazine, it comes with a 6-round and a 7-round with a pinky extension. So starting out with the 6-round Browning Court 380 Auto, and let's see how the first shot does. First 6 rounds through this gun was perfect. Slide locked back on the last round. And one thing I want to mention is that the slide lock here, it is not a slide release. There's been a lot of confusion on this that I've seen. Taurus even says that it is not a slide release, it is a slide lock. And when you put in the next magazine, you are not supposed to use this as a slide release. Some people have been having problems with the round not feeding all the way into the chamber when they pop this down. Taurus even says it's not a slide release. You're supposed to rest the slide back and it will feed all the way in. So this is the 7-round magazine with the little pinky extension. So let's see how the next 7 round goes. No problem. Now, a lot of videos I've seen, a lot of people have problems with these little Spectrums right out of the box. And so far I haven't had any problems. And this was Browning Court 380 Auto. Now, I'm going to move on to the Fiocchi. See how that works. Alright, the first 6 rounds of the Fiocchi, and it went in just fine. Let's see how it goes. And I just had a strike but no boom. Let's see if it goes boom on the second strike. and it does. So that's what I like about the double action striker, where the striker sits in a resting position and only goes under tension when you pull the trigger. Because when it's released and it strikes and it don't go boom, well, you're set up to pull the trigger again, and it'll pull back, release, and strike again. So I had one strike and no fire, but the second strike, it went boom. Now for the 7-round magazine, and let's see how that works. No problem. Ran all the way through. Now let's go to American Eagle. I'll do 13 rounds of that. 6 and then 7. Alright, first 6 rounds of the American Eagle. And looks like I got a little hung up on the feed ramp there. But there it goes. Those ran just fine. Let's go another 7 rounds. Fed in just fine. And I got one jam right there. A little stove piping. Pop that out. Feed the next round. And that's all of them. So I had one little jam with the American Eagle. It didn't eject the casing all the way out. Let's try the Federal range target practice. Alright, 6 rounds of the Federal. Fed just fine. First 6 rounds went through just fine. Let's get right into the 7-round magazine. A little caught up on the ramp there. There it goes. May have to polish that ramp a little bit. Seven rounds went through just fine. Another cool thing about this is the takedown is super easy. You see that little screw right there? It's resting in an up and down position there. And if you take a spent casing here, take the rim of it, you put it in there, and you turn it and unlock it, slide, comes right off. And it's that easy. Hopefully you can see this alright. But here's the front of the barrel. You got your striker back here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little hook right there that when you pull back it goes under tension. So when you pull the trigger, you can see that little thing right there moving back and forth. That is what catches that little hook, and it pulls the striker back under tension and then releases, goes forward, and boom. Putting it back together is just as easy. You just put it up on the slide there, pull back, and when you rack it, that screw there auto locks, so you don't have to sit there and turn it and lock it again. You just unlock it once, take the slide off, and when you put the slide back on, rack it, and it auto locks. Now there's one more ammo I want to try. I don't have the box with me, but I got 17 rounds of this Hornady Critical Defense. You can see it is a cone shape hollow point with a little rubber piece in the middle there. So I'm going to load that up and see how it runs. All the others, the Fiocchi, American Eagle, Federal, and the Browning, they all have round noses on them. So let's see how this defense ammo works out. Alright, first 6 rounds of the Hornady Critical Defense. Fed through just fine. And all 6 rounds went through just fine. Let's do another 7 rounds. Got caught up in the feed ramp there. I can see where it's caught up. And I'm gonna have to pop this out. Let it go through. Nope, it's still in the magazine. But yeah, I can see where it got caught up. You probably can't see it, but there's a little dent right at the tip of that cone shape there. Try it again. And there we go, it went in. And I got a little stovepipe going right there. And the next round just popped out too. So now I got a jam in there on the third one. So the casing got jammed in there. I went to rack it to knock it out, and the next round popped out. Now the third one in there is jammed. I'm gonna have to drop the magazine and get it out of there. These were the last 2 rounds, so I'm gonna put them back in. Alright. So that did not work out too well. I think it's the way they designed the cone, because I don't know if you can see, but it's not a smooth cone shape. There's these like little, cuts around it, and that's where it's getting caught up. But I got a couple more rounds here. I got 4 more. Let me put them in the 7 round magazine, because the 6th round didn't have that many problems, only with the 7 round. So let's see how it works now. Alright, those ran through. So I was just looking at my box, and I just realized I do have some more Hornady Critical Defense. This is a pre-mold of a bottle. Pretty nice. You can see it's got the bottle cap on it. But yeah, this is a pre-mold before it gets blown out into a bottle. You can buy these on Amazon. But anyway, I do have some more Hornady Critical Defense. And let's see how many I got here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more rounds. So I'll go ahead and put them in the 7 round magazine. Put them through and see what happens. Alright, that fed through just fine. And there we go, that's all of them. Those ran fine, but I'm not sure what happened with the first two magazines when they were getting caught up like that. Maybe the magazine needs to be broken in, because it was pretty tight when I first started today, and now it seems to be loosened up a bit when I load the magazines. So I'm pretty much going to start over and go through all these again. Start off with the Browning Court, and then Fiocchi, American Eagle, and then Federal. Just do 13 more rounds in each one and see if I get the exact same results now that these magazines are a little loosened up a bit. Alright, 6 rounds, Browning Court. Seven more rounds. Alright, no problems with the Browning Court. Alright, 6 rounds of the Fiocchi. And 7 more rounds. Those ran just fine too. 6 rounds, American Eagle. Seven more rounds, American Eagle. Those ran fine, no problems. 6 rounds, Federal, range target practice. Seven more rounds. And those ran just fine too. So if I'm doing the math correctly, I have ran 125 rounds so far through this Taurus Spectrum. And I've had one fail to fire, but it fired on the second strike. And I had 2 stovepipes, I believe, and that little mishap with the critical defense. And I blame the cone shape on that critical defense. It's got those like little cuts going around the cone, and just the shape of it, I could see why it was catching at the bottom of the feed ramp. But other than that, a lot of videos I've seen, people were having a horrible time with the Taurus Spectrum, but my first time with the Spectrum, I think it ran pretty great out of the 125 rounds. I had to put my sunglasses on because the sun's bright. But anyway, let me talk about the real reason why I got the Taurus Spectrum. So when I think of a carry gun, I also think about the people around me. So I got this thing to replace my LCP II 380. Now I don't have that gun with me right now, but I got the 22, and the only difference is the 22 and it's got a little safety lever on it. But take the safety off, change it to 380, it's the exact same gun. So the LCP II 380 is a single action only semi-automatic pistol. So when you pop the magazine in, wrap that first round into the chamber, the hammer's cocked back. If that hammer were to drop, they got a secondary sear called a hammer catch. So if the hammer dropped, it would catch in a half-cocked position. The chances of both the hammer and the hammer catch failing and the gun going off is slim to none. But I don't want to be carrying my LCP II 380 in my pocket, sitting down, and my 3-year-old running around, or anybody else around, and then all of a sudden I become part of that slim category. I just can't do it. With the Taurus Spectrum, like I said, the striker sits in a forward resting position. It's a double action trigger. When you pull the trigger, the striker is pulled back under tension, and when the trigger breaks, it releases that tension and it shoots forward and it goes boom. And it's like that with every single shot. So when I say that this gun cannot go off without pulling the trigger, that's 100% true. In the LCP II 380, when you say it will not go off unless you pull the trigger, it's not 100% true. I cannot put 100% of my trust in the mechanics when there's stuff in there under tension that could someday fail. So that's the real reason why I got the Taurus Spectrum. I've seen only one video mention this, but inside the slide here, probably can't see it, but there's a little piece of metal right there, and it's actually holding the striker in a resting position. Not actually holding it, but the striker's in a resting position, and then there's like a little safety there to keep that striker from moving back and forth. Let's say you were to drop the gun and it hits barrel first on the ground. That low safety will prevent the striker from getting jarred forward when it hits the ground and striking the primer. So that's just another little safety thing that a lot of people fail to mention. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time.